everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Podcast, the only sneaker podcast that sure will be your Valentine today. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Tanner Young.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Wow.
Tanner, what'd you get him?
I got her. And then in post, you put in.
Oh, and then I got to edit it in post? Got it. No problem. You got it. If it's silent, there was a glitch when uploading. Yeah.
Yeah. Oopsie. Probably, I don't know. Diamonds, gold, maybe a yacht.
Nothing crazy.
Light work.
Probably going to take it easy this year. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. More than likely, probably her favorite candy.
Oh, good. Love a sweet candy.
And then I think Jules and I will do a card.
Oh, can't beat it. From the kid,
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Yeah. He likes picking out flowers.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is sweet. He also has an eye for expensive things.
That's my boy.
I knew when I was like, what flowers? He's like, let's look over there. And
Orchids.
He pointed to the ones like in the coolers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you sure, buddy?
How about these that are out and within reach and wrapped in plastic? Vase. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So he really liked that. So we're probably gonna do that. What about you? What you get in the old missus?
Well, we will be on vacation when this episode releases. A little peek behind the curtain there when we're recording this ahead of time. And so since we're on vacation, we agreed that, probably just a nice dinner or something like that, maybe a card, good. But no big, can't really pack a gift in a carry-on without her seeing it, like 7 days in a row. So Valentine's is on the back end of our vacation. So I think we'll just probably go out for a meal together, spend some time in a park or something like that, but kind of low key, Or really, once you get in, everyone's different. Once you get on one shared bank account, getting each other gifts for the holidays gets a little funny, of like, how much are we taking out of our bank for each other,
You're really just kind of like, what do you want? And really, it's more just like, how many? I mean, the thing is, Ashley doesn't really look. So, like, she doesn't really know. Amazon, though, like, she gets, it's her, like, Amazon account. So that one's kind of tough. But, like, I could literally just go and buy something. I'm actually curious if she even has the bank app on her phone.
So hackers and, bank fraud enthusiasts, if you're listening, he is right for the picking right now. Okay.
I'm watching.
There's still a layer of security and defense there. Don't get your hopes too high up. But yeah, it sounded like for a minute there.
No, because sometimes I'll be like, CC's and scooters today, huh?
Oh, you were having fun out there. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Jolene needs a pup cup,
She got to get one. That's fair.
Gotta get one. So
anyways,
you getting Sky anything?
I mean, probably. Well, she's gonna be with my parents, so I don't know if we'll get her anything that far ahead of time. And when we get back the pup cup.
I also like how you refer to a national park as a park.
Well, I didn't want to get so far into the details of our trip, but yeah, we're going to national parks next week. So you're not blowing up the spot. You're not blowing. It's fine.
GPS'd him.
It's fine. He doxed me. Yeah, we're gonna be in a national park. Got him, boys. Yeah, no, we'll be in a couple of national parks by the time this episode comes out. So we're doing this one ahead of time. A little casual episode, a little cozy episode. Put the stream deck to the side. No scene switches here. No visuals. No graphics prepared. A little topic we've been wanting to talk about for a couple months here, but the timing didn't work out. You know it from the title and the thumbnail. Are we still sneakerheads? That probably feels a little dramatic. A little over the top, and like, why are they asking that? These guys have been podcasting about sneakers for 7 years. They're currently doing it. Surely there's something to it here, but hear us out. There's some context here. Can I give the people the backstory?
Begin.
So December of last year, 2024, we're getting ready to do our Sneaker of the Year episode. And if you haven't caught those, go back and watch it. Not right now. Stay here for now. But after this, go back and watch it. And for those, we have a couple different categories that we do. Your favorite sneaker that came out this year, most overhyped, most slept on, most innovative. And one of them that we've historically done every year, favorite shoe you got this year. And so we have 6 nominees. I do 3. Tanner does 3. So I fill out my 3, and when it's getting, we're coming up on time to record the episode. And I said, oh, hey, I see you got all your nominees for the other categories. You missed favorite shoe you got this year. And Tanner, what did you tell me?
Couldn't afford them.
You didn't say couldn't afford them. You didn't say couldn't afford them. I checked with you several times before we did this that you felt like I was not putting you on the spot and you agreed. So don't you do this to me now. No.
I just didn't have anything. Like I told you, I tried. He
said he didn't buy any shoes. That was the one sentence there. He said, "Oh, I didn't get any shoes this year."
Yeah, I did some raffles, but I didn't hit on the raffles, which tale as old as time.
Sure.
And then there just wasn't anything that I felt. I just didn't catch myself on like GOAT or StockX a lot. And just nothing really was like, I was like, oh, I have to have that.
Yeah. So that was from your, we're going to pause. We're going to explore it a little bit further. Set the context from my end here. Around that same time, I was looking at my closet and I was like, why do I have all these shoes that I don't wear? Like all these shoes that are cool shoes. And at one point I had to get it. And some of them, the purchase was a little bit more of like, if you're a sneakerhead, you've got to have this shoe, admittedly. And it's shoes I still liked and shoes I did wear. It's not like they were brand new and I never wore them, but just stuff I wasn't wearing all that regularly. And so then I was like, I'm going to start selling some of the hype shoes that I don't wear that much. And I just want to get some shoes that I can wear that are affordable, that go with everything, and that are comfortable. I don't have kids, but you might think I have kids from that sentence because that's dad level talk right there. So that was kind of my moment of like, I'm going to start getting out of some of the hype stuff here and just get into the what I like to wear stuff here, which, I mean, sometimes those Venn diagrams overlap and that's always great when they do.
For sure.
But sometimes it's like, nah, I just want some stuff for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's where we're coming from. Are we still sneakerheads?
And it is interesting because, I mean, like, I have a lot of like agree what you said where you just kind of look and you're like, I ended up looking through. I do have a lot of shoes that are more sentimental that I'm like, I'll like, yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There are also shoes that are sentimental, shoes that I really enjoy. Recently,
I was going to ask, can you give us some examples of like those sentimental shoes?
Yeah. So recently I just end up putting on, the French beige NMDs.
Yeah. If
there was
this is not a cool shoe right now shoe, but
100%
for you, it is.
I was so hype on that shoe. And me and my wife, when we were on our honeymoon in Denver, walked into a sneaker place and there was like a basketball game going on. I just so happened to be like, oh, sweet, they're up. I don't even remember what the game was, but the guy who was watching was like, hey, I'm also pulling for them. You don't have to pay tax today. Hey. I was like, that's insane. And then it was one of those things. And I'm like, oh my God, French beige NMDs right here. Pretty good price. Honeymoon. Ended up buying them. Just been wearing those.
And then you flash your badge and you're like, joke's on you. I work for the IRS. Hands up right now.
So are you paying these taxes?
Who pays the taxes?
You know, or like I'll have like the homegrown. So like that was a gift from you that I wore for our dress rehearsal, you know, things like that. So like I do have a couple of those shoes that I think are hype. Even though probably like the homegrowns and the French beige, most people are probably not putting on that list. And then I've got a pair of hacky sack.
Oh man.
Dunks.
Classic.
Dunk highs. That was the first shoe I bought. First shoe, like big shoe that I bought that, you know, so I've got that. But when it comes to, like I said, like newer shoes, I think a lot of it was, I'm not really like going out, not really like I'm really settling into the dad zone.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, if I'm going out anywhere, it's to go bowling. So I'm really just looking to like slip in and slip out of something.
Right.
And then maybe Target.
Yeah. Yeah. The Costco run occasionally.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, oh, I'm not really going out much. I'm not really hitting like the sneaker shops like Ruckus and Politics like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a big thing. I have never really been a big buyer of sneakers online. I've been more of like most of my purchases are going to be made like in store, whether that is like at a resale store or a retail store. So I just never really got hooked into the whole buying online aspect. And like I said, especially last year, I just every now and again I would catch myself scrolling on GOAT or StockX. I just never really did.
Nothing caught your eye in that way.
Yeah. Like I said, I hit some raffles if I could remember. But I just never really did. And even saying that with sneakers online, I've got a box full of sneakers that I need to sell.
Oh yeah.
Haven't even gotten on like just taking pictures of them to put them up on like eBay or something.
Yeah.
But to turn it to, I guess the title is like, I have for a while kind of gone and viewed myself less of like a, I guess, sneakerhead and just kind of like I'm a sneaker enthusiast. The love that I have for shoes is the same.
Right.
And if anything, I'm kind of like going backwards. Like I'm very much going back to like 14, 15, 16, where I'm just kind of appreciating and admiring shoes and not necessarily buying them.
There's a John Mayer interview I really like with Kerwin Frost, where he talks about kind of that exact sentiment of eventually coming to the realization of like, you can appreciate something without buying it and owning it. Like you can see something you like, double tap it to give it the heart, share it to the story, leave a comment. And like, that can be, you can appreciate it and enjoy it without needing to own it. And I think that's kind of what you're speaking to there.
I think so. I think that definitely resonates with me now. Like I enjoy talking about sneakers and learning the design process about I feel like my my love of sneakers has not evolved, but like just made a lateral move from needing to like own it and have it and see it to more of, I want to know more about the shoe. I like looking at the shoe. I really love looking at like the product shots of it to see like the creative, like photographer, like aspect of it. And I agree kind of like you said with that statement with John Mayer of the interview is I am more of like admiring it from afar. I don't need to own this shoe.
Yeah.
I have shoes that I really enjoyed and loved, like the Bread 4s that I have. I'll never get rid of those because I remember sick I thought they were at 14 and how sick I still think they are. And I may not wear them a lot, but that's a shoe where I'm like, I could never get because like I wanted a Bread 4 so bad as a kid. And there's still a lot of shoes that like I liked and like obsessed over that I don't have or like I've fallen out of love. And I guess that's also kind of the thing where I was like, I remember how obsessed I was for the green glow Fours.
Yeah.
But now I kind of see them and I'm like, I don't know if they're that cool. Like, I'm like, they're, you know,
in the time and in the era for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now,
like whenever they were, So again, it's kind of one of the things. It's like, okay, well, how obsessed? Like I said, I have a bin full of shoes that whenever I got old enough and had spendable money that I could buy, I bought a bunch of shoes that I thought I liked, or maybe I did like, but then 10 years down the line, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't remember these.
Yeah.
You know,
for me, your Green Glow 4 is my Yeezy 750 of like, thank goodness I never bought it when I could actually afford to buy it. Cause I think I would have been chasing a feeling. And when they came in, I probably would have tried to put it on and like tried to wear it out and make myself believe that like this was worth it eventually getting and waiting. But now I'm like, I'm glad I don't have that shoe. Kind of similarly with like Sakai waffles, owned them, sold them, regretted selling them. But now like, I know I would not be wearing that shoe. So, you know, and there's nothing wrong with getting a pair of shoes and enjoying it for, you know,
the time
1 to 5 years, whatever that period is that like you feel like it's hot, and then like selling it and moving on to the next thing. But just eventually you kind of maybe get to a point where you're like, I don't need shoes that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, but stuff that like maybe is a little closer to timeless or like has those sentimental memories that like I feel like I'm going to appreciate it more for, rather than like it's hot in this moment, you know?
Yeah. I think I agree with that a lot. You know, looking at the shoes I have now, like I tie like a memory to the shoe, either when I got it or like wearing it or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is, and again, I think it's also one of the things where it's like, I'm not really wearing sneakers as much as I used to, or like a large variety.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the career that I have plays a large role in that.
Yeah.
Like my Monday through Friday, like I really don't want to wear these really nice, expensive shoes to my job.
Since we started the podcast, has your job kind of changed in that way to where like now it just would not be as practical to wear, say, a pair of Jordan 4s every day in the week? Or has the job been kind of more the same, but you're adjusting to like the practicality of it, you know?
I mean, I guess it always has been like a cool, I just am in my head, I categorize like certain shoes. So like I'll buy a pair of shoes and I'll be like, okay,
that's
this
a work shoe.
Yeah. Okay. So like the Huarache like runners, I'm like, that is a work shoe. I don't really wear that out. That is basically, I just wear it to work, and I buy them knowing that
it's going to go through hell.
I'm gonna wear like now, like where where that natural bend on the toe box, that fabric's starting to tear and there's some holes there, and the outsole is starting to kind of come unglued in some spots that like over, the 2 years I've been wearing, a year and a half, and wearing them, they're catching the part of my car when I get out, so that part is kind of clipping. Whereas I'll look at like my cool gray 4s and I'm like, yeah, I could work in these. I could wear them to my job, but I'm also just like, I'm bending on the floor. I'm down on the ground a lot. I'm all this. I got kids who are dumping like juice and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to like
put them
kind of give up on these, but I don't wear them enough to where they get beat.
Right.
So I mean, from where, like I said, I've moved in my career, but the job is the same. I'm still working with young kids with autism, and I'm playing around a lot, and we're moving and grooving, and messes happen, this, that, and the other, to where my brain goes, no, these sneakers. And like I said, I don't have anything in here that's worth $1,000. Sure. You know what I mean?
Anything crazy, yeah.
Even like, I don't even know if I have anything in here worth $500, $400, but the money it took me to buy them, like I said, I in my head, I have them in that mint box.
Well, and like your French beiges might be a perfect example to where like, maybe not, I don't know what they go for now, maybe not super valuable, but the memory of A, that specific pair you had, and B, if something happened to them, replacing them, even if affordable, would not be the same. Like,
very true.
You hold on to them because you have a special memory with them. But if you lost them, would you buy another pair of French beiges for everyday wear? Maybe not. Yeah. It's not, you're wearing them because you have them and because they're special. But yeah, the replacement on them might not be worth it.
Yeah. So for a while, I've kind of viewed myself as more of like a sneaker enthusiast rather than a sneakerhead. But again, me personally, how I view a sneakerhead is different than how I interact with sneakers. Like to me, I'm like, okay, a sneakerhead is someone who is, they're hitting all the hype raffles. They're buying probably 5+ pairs of shoes a year. And like I said, I mean, all of last year, I didn't purchase
a
single, didn't purchase a single shoe. I don't know. I think we had kind of talked about it. I was like, okay, well, like you've got, a kid is more of a focus there. And it really, nothing ever was like a financial,
sure.
Like, I'd rather spend money on him. It was just real. I think one of the things was just like, I don't really have the amount of opportunities to like put on some shoes,
put something on. Yeah.
Are decreased from like 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
And to give context to your statement there, I want to clarify for the listeners that when I had the idea for this episode and I asked Tanner about it, I gently broached the subject and say, would you want to do this? And can I make sure that you didn't refrain from buying shoes for financial reasons? And you're like, no, that's fine. That's not why it was. So I just want to make sure everyone's not like, wow, Ryan, you really put this guy on the spotlight. No shoes. You guys doing okay? You got bread on your table?
Yeah. I can throw a couple bucks your way.
So we're going to have a GoFundMe link to the episode description down below.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 things I want to say before we move on. One, I like that we're talking about buying shoes for a specific purpose, wearing them for that purpose. And it's like just that one pair of shoes is for that one thing. For anyone who's listening, who's not that into sneakers, you might think of that as buying shoes. Right, that's just the average person. Right? Like we're talking about it like it's this novel new thing. Like we're kind of evolving in this way. The average person is like, that's just shopping. Actually, that's just I got these pants because I needed a nice pair of pants for nice occasions. Right? It's like, okay, but for us, it's a little different. I want to hit you with the hypothetical. So going from the no shoes last year, what would it take? What's the dream shoe this year that gets you to buy something? Something that if you saw was coming out, you'd say, I'd got to have that, Oh,
I mean, it just from the last episode we did, definitely the black toes.
A black toe. So you're feeling pretty confident. That's a pickup?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure that I get that. One, it's not, obviously it's not like a break the bank type buy. And like I said, I just really like that look. So the black toes definitely are going to be that. If not that, definitely, well, not definitely, but I think I'm going to go through more. Let me answer you multiple different ways. Ooh. The black toes is something that I think I would be like, I'm going to want to get a resale for, even if I don't pick up, which I do think will be probably pretty easy to get.
If you missed at retail, you would pay resale.
Yes.
Okay.
The shoe that would get me to do the most hoops for, or probably get me to be more like online to try and get, would be the undefeated fours.
Okay. To where like got to do the legwork to hit those at retail.
Yeah. Like most of the things last year was like, if I could remember of a sneakers app release, I would like catch on. But sometimes I would get there and be like, oh, it's sold out. I'm like, yep, forgot, whatever. And I would just move on. I would just move on with day. I think the undefeated fours is going to be the thing where I'm like, I need to set my alarm. Like what I used to do. Like I remember like being like, set your alarm, wake up. You got your phone ready to go here. You got your computer over here.
You got payment info set. Yeah.
100%. Okay. I'm logged in. I made a profile on this one, profile on this one. I saved my shipping address. I saved my credit card. I got all these. I think the undefeated fours is going to be that shoe for me this year. And not to go super heavy into it, because I know we just did kind of hit on this, but it is funny because I'm also just like, yeah, the story's cool, but I just like the green shoe, which is funny.
It's just olive green Jordan 4 just looks good. I got the hoodie. I just want to match,
And so I think that's also a reason why I'm like, yeah, I don't really think of myself as like a sneakerhead. Because like, again, like, I mean, just thinking, man, if you haven't listened to the episode, you got to go that one. But with the bread ones, 10 years ago, you have this same scenario going down. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
I mean,
at
this point, it was 9 years ago when 2016 came out. So yeah, not that far off.
But you've got now, 2025, I'm like, nah, too much.
Let me tell you what, you got too much desert, and I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa. I'm tired of digging holes trying to get these Jordan 1 breads. Just a little too much desert there, Grandpa. A little bit less, a smaller grid. I would have been happy to work it, try to find Kiss and Kate Barlow's secret stash. Now, too much. I'm not that interested.
All of Nevada? I can't do that. You know what I mean? Not doing that.
Yellow spotted lizards along the way? I'm sorry, I can't do this.
So I know I've kind of hit a lot.
Sure.
Or I feel like I've really just been, where do you stand in regards to the title of Sneakerhead?
Yeah. So so a little expanding on the story here. So I've got a policy, I think I've talked about on here before, that as we are now, there's one shelf of sneakers behind me. There is a closet in our bedroom that also has shelves of sneakers. When the shelves are full, if I want a new pair, a pair has to go. We don't do overflow. I'm not doing extras on the floor. One in, one out. That's the rule here. So, got to late last year. It was probably actually before December, where I was like, man, I say that many. I think I got 4 or 5 pairs last year, which from years prior is still, I've been decreasing year over year in how many pairs I'm getting. And so it had been a couple months since I bought anything, and I was like, I just want to get some new shoes, but like nothing that's coming out right now is really what I want to get. But I just want some plain, comfortable stuff that I could wear with every day. That's kind of
easy,
honestly, not hype stuff. So like it's kind of sleeper stuff. And like, for me, that's kind of even cooler of like, no, I'm just into this sort of thing. So it was more of okay, I need the shelf space. I don't need the dollars from selling something hype to buy something else crazy hype, but I'll use the money and then pocket the rest or whatever. So I started looking at the shelves. And so so some of the stuff I let go of, sale Jordan 1s, all white ones, those released in like maybe like 2017. First Jordan 1 I ever bought. Kind of hard one to let go, but all white Jordan 1. I'm not wearing it that much.
Yeah.
Para Air Max 1s. That's probably one of the big ones.
Crazy.
Which was a crazy one. We did an episode, season 1, maybe season 2, way early on, where I talked about how I got that pair because I got it from round 2 and I worked this big trade in, but they were a half a size too small from my normal size. And already Air Maxes in your true to size, you should probably be going half size up. But again, I got them when I was in that kind of new to this whole world mentality of like, I got to get the staples. I got to build my collection. And like, Paras are a must have. You've got to have Para Air Max 1s. I'd wanted them for so many years. So I was like, no, they're half size small. I'll make them work. That was my mentality for a while with a lot of shoes. And I'm now at the point where I'm like, I don't got to make them work because my comfort's important. So Para Air Max 1s went. Royal Jordan 1s. That was another big one that went.
Wow.
Which again was so much of, we've talked about it a million times, so I won't go into it, but like we bought that shoe, we were hanging out together. I got them from Union Street Shop. Shout out Cody.
Yeah.
But I got them alongside, I got my breads at the same time. And it was kind of the excitement and moment of like, I could get Royals and breads. Those are both such big staples. And like, they're both here. They're both in my size. I could get them. But y'all, like Royal Jordan 1s, I probably could count on 2 hands at most the number of times I wore them. I'm just not big on like blue shoes. I got like a kind of narrow amount of blue shoes I'm wearing now. And it was like, if I'm going to grab a Jordan 1, I'm going to grab my LA to Chicago's or my Bread 1s or Shadows. Like I would go those over Royals more often, or the Rookies of the Year I actually really like. So anyways, those 3 kind of went. And then in their place, I grabbed them so I could show everyone. Supersonic Vomero 5s. Not a crazy shoe. I bought these on the restock, brand new for below retail. So again, we're not a crazy shoe, but like, here's a clean looking shoe in a Vomero. And another one that I really like, I don't remember what year this released, but Teddy Santis New Balance 990 V3, I'm pretty sure. I'm kind of still new to the New Balance world, but just, black and white, gray and brown, just like comfortable shoes you can wear with everything. I am so hyped on both these pairs. I wear them all the time and I love it. And I'm happier than when I'm wearing Para Air Max 1s or Royal Jordan 1s because I wasn't wearing those shoes out and being like, I hope someone notices. I hope someone compliments me, or like, I hope I get a nod or whatever. I just wanted to have them because I felt like to be in the sneaker world, you got to have that in your collection.
Yeah.
So
that validation.
Yeah. And again, not even so much from others, but just like selfishly, I was like,
yeah,
my collection's got to have these things. Like that's a staple collection.
How could I be into sneakers if I don't own this pair?
Right,
Everyone owns this pair that I, and it is also tough because it's like, we're seeing the collection you see the most are from people who either have got they got homied up where they got given a pair.
Yeah.
Or they have so much money that they can't buy. So you're seeing these Uber collections. You're like, oh my God, I have to have these because this is
it's the staples. It's the classics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyways, that was my saga towards the end of last year. And so it was funny because I was kind of going through my own head of man, I'm kind of having this transition point right now where I'm not so concerned about if my collection has the most exciting stuff, especially if it's half size too small and it's not that comfortable for me to wear. And then I've got, it's not the same thing as you, but similar to you, I work from home 5 days a week. The only humans I see in person, not even humans, the only beings I see in person are my wife, who is a human, I should clarify, and our dog, who is not a human. But 5 days a week, those are the only people I see. And so even if I have my days where I like to wear shoes at home, because there's a part of my brain that's too practical that goes, why do you have all these shoes if you're never wearing them? And so I'm like, I want to wear it. It kind of helps me get in a motivation headspace where if I feel like I'm fully dressed head to toe, I'll be a little bit more present in what I'm doing. Whereas if I'm just in a t-shirt and sweats, I find it a little easier to get lost from my work. You know what I mean? You're just kind of too cozy. Everyone's different. So anyways, 5 days a week, those are the only people I see. And not even all 5 of those days do I want to be wearing shoes. And the days where I do, I just want to wear comfy shoes because I'm not trying to really stunt on anyone, myself included. For me, having the pair on my shelf is just as good as having them on my feet if I'm sitting here, I could appreciate them all the same. So I was kind of going through that same thing of I wonder, I'm definitely not the same person as I was when we started the podcast of everything's exciting and new when you're kind of getting into collecting any new hobby like that. And so I think kind of where I've landed for myself is that I feel like I still consider myself a sneakerhead in the sense that we obviously care about them. We're sitting here once a week to talk about them and record it. We're going on 7 years now.
Yeah.
We both still have walls of them behind us, which is casual shoe fans do not have that. But I think I consider myself much less of a hype beast as much as I would have wanted to square up had you called me that 7 years ago. But there's a bit of that of just you're new, you're kind of just buying whatever the staples and the classics are deemed to be, but also whatever the latest, hottest thing is, because it's all new and exciting. And I think I'm happily at a point now where I'm there's been a lot of bigger releases that have come out in the last year that I had a chance to get at retail or not that much more than retail. And I sat it out because I was no, I don't need that. I don't have room for that. I don't like it more than anything I already have that I want to get rid of something for it. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just oh, I like this, I want to get it. But it's you kind of think you're okay, well, this is kind of like this shoe and this other shoe that I have.
Right.
And of those 3 that this one's kind of this one I would already rather wear than this one.
Yeah.
And it still fits the criteria of a staple hype shoe. So I think that's also a lot of what 2024 was for me, where it was I don't really have a lot of opportunities to wear shoes. When I do, I have a closet full.
Already. I mean, I already have more stuff that I could wear, right?
Exactly. So I'm okay, well, I don't know. And I think that was the big thing is nothing really, there were some things that of the past years that I've been wow, I really like it, but I still never went out and got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think again, it was just one of those things where I'm oh, I mean, I don't really wear shoes a lot much anymore. And again, if I do, I just open up my closet door and I've got
Yeah.
What, 20 something pairs in there, 30 something pairs. I could pull. I'm sure just every time I open that, they scream, maybe it's us. Maybe
the
it's
light
us.
of day.
Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, nope.
You know
Same
what we got
dusty old Crocs he keeps putting them on.
You know what we got to get back to? Someone reminded me of the other day. Shout out Julianne if you're listening. The February sneaker challenge. Not for February now. Obviously, we're halfway into it, but we should pick another month where we used to do every day we would wear a different pair of shoes, and maybe we could just personally get back to it, but not. The posting every day was a lot of work of getting the pictures and doing the edit and everything. So maybe just personally get back to that, and we can talk about it during the week. But as we were just saying that, the one shoe that came to mind for me was like that release last year that I kind of thought about, the Nina Chanel Abney 3s. That was the one that I was like, oh, maybe I kind of want to get this, but then I was ultimately like, I don't want to pay more than retail for it. And I feel like now I don't know how much I would wear that shoe, and I'm not like kicking myself for not getting it. So that for me tells me that like getting in a better place of not letting the excitement of every moment sweep me up.
Yeah, and maybe that's it as well. Maybe it is, and I don't know. Maybe it's also just like I said. There's not a lot of like in person where you get really wrapped up in the romance of the moment. A lot of things, it's just like everything is kind of online.
Down. Yeah,
and everything's online. So I think it's all like one of the, it's like, and then also with the how early you see things now. You are almost guaranteed a month of looking at a shoe before you can even buy it. So by the time you get the chance to buy it, that kind of love may have like kind of like gone and on to the next.
I think it's prevented a lot of lukewarm feelings. You've either seen it 2 months out and you can't get it out of your head, or you've seen it 2 months out and you're so tired of it that you don't want it. But like
I like that.
I think it's rare now that we're seeing stuff so far out that it comes around. You're like, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of people, you've either been tired of seeing it and you're like, yeah, it's not growing on me, or you're like, I need to get it. I'm so tired of seeing it and not having it. So it's just a little bit different.
That.
You know what?
I like that. I think that's a good point.
Listeners, I need your help with, and Tanner already knows this. So going back to, right, I'm selling my hype sneakers for comfy sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
I have skunk dunks. I wear them twice a year at most. I got them at such a good price, I cannot get rid of them. Because here's the thing, is that I know if I sell them, I would never buy them again. But I'm also practical enough to know that, like, yeah, you don't need to buy them again. You're not wearing them and you already own them. But I can't get rid of them because they're skunk dunks. And that's as much as my brain goes, you don't need to hold on to staple classic shoes, there's a little bit of my brain that goes, that one, right? That was different, not that one.
Yeah.
So if you're listening,
it is funny.
Help me with my dilemma, Nelly and Kelly Rowland.
Give you money? Is that what you?
No. I don't need to sell them for money or anything like that. But just help me figure out should I rip the Band-Aid off and sell them, or is it like, no, that one is different. Hold on to them. No, I'm not asking just for money here.
I landed on, so kind of like how you had said, where like you were like shelf space, so like that's like a physical of almost buying like a Tupperware container, like those big ones that are small that go underneath the bed, and be like, hey, once this fills up, now obviously yes, you could be like, what's to stop you from?
I know myself well enough. I know myself well enough to know it's a slippery slope of the second it gets like, well, there's one exception to the rule of it has to be on a shelf.
Yeah.
That's me personally. I don't have the restraint to be like, well, that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is a slippery slope, but it is hard to do. I think at some point there will eventually be where it'll come and you'll be like, okay, it's time to take the trophies off the shelf.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, already that's the tough thing is that, listeners, I don't know if you know, this wall behind me is almost all entirely, it's hard to do. This side is all Louisiana shoes. This side, and then top rack is Louisiana, bottom rack is Louisiana, middle rack is Chicago. These are all my size. I would double check. Maybe one is not, but these are all my size and almost all of them worn. But a lot of them I'm not wearing regularly because they are so much more for me, kind of the trophy side.
Yeah.
This is also my exception of like, yeah, I don't have to be wearing it. I will have always such a soft spot for Louisiana sneakers in my heart that like, yeah, the where are they at? Oh, this is so hard to do mirrored. Whatever. They're back there somewhere. The Rougarou Reebok Instapump Furies is not a shoe I'm wearing out at all. But like, it's
you're right.
Man, this is so hard to do.
Your right
mirrored.
Top,
right there. That's them.
Oh, that's them. Oh, okay.
They're kind of dark, but anyways, it's not a shoe I'm wearing out. The Reebok Pump Highs, the 25th, the Bordens, the Last of a Dying Breed. I've never worn those shoes. Someone else did. They're pre-owned, but it's just stuff like that. That's like. That's also, this to me is closer to the Grail level because it's like that stuff that's harder to find in my size even, you know? So,
well, I think behind you has taken more of a, like an art,
more display-ish. Yeah.
Gallery wall rather than
the bedroom closet is so utilitarian. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, this is definitely both, more of like there's a theme, there's a purpose. But yes, I agree. This is what is behind you now almost is more a higher percentage of like this is my art piece.
Yeah.
Rather than shelves that sneakers go on that I made. You know, it's like what shoe, obviously I'm going to pull it off the shelf and I'm going to wear it. But for the most part, it's like they're almost the untouchables where it's like, this deserves where it is because of, like you said, it's Louisiana sneakers. It's Chicago sneakers. It ties both you and your wife to where you are, to where you were, to where you will be, you know, and all those things. So, those I think should always be the exception. What's behind.
Yeah. When I put on shoes every day, I start in the bedroom closet and occasionally I'll come in here and grab one, but that's 90% of the time. Shoes are coming from there. These are not off limits, but they're not the go-tos really.
Yeah, makes sense.
So final verdict, I would say for myself, I would say for you as well, still sneakerheads, not hype beast. I think we still care about it. I think we're still aware of what's going on in the sneaker culture. Yeah. I think we're still participating in it. You know, we're not buying every release, but you know, I think as long as you got a rack of 20 plus shoes in your house, it's hard to be like, I'm not a sneaker. You know, I think it's still, you're falling for the average person, they would be calling you that. Yeah.
That is fair. I think that is a good point. I think you have wooed me to the title of sneakerhead. Like I said, I have previously viewed myself as more of like a sneaker enthusiast, but, I guess, doing a weekly podcast for 7 years about sneakers, having
hard to beat the allegations,
20, 30 plus sneakers. Yeah. You're probably gonna, because again, I think the really thing, like kind of how you said, you're like only a sneakerhead would be like, no, this one is for this specific, for my job. Whenever you're like, I think most people would just consider that buying shoes. I was like, wow. That when you said that, I was like, oh, maybe I am a sneakerhead.
Like most people who are like, I have a pair of shoes that like I do yard work in and maybe a pair that I run in, but these are like my nice shoes when I go to work. When we start talking about that, like I'm having a shift in my perception. It's like, no, that's just how the average person buys shoes.
No, that's how most people.
We're the oddballs here. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Nope. Okay. I definitely change. I'm a sneakerhead.
All right. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Leave a comment down below. Let us know. Do you still consider us sneakerheads? Do you have you become or denounced yourself as a sneaker? I don't know what the opposite is, but like, what do you consider a sneakerhead to be? Whatever you think about sneakerheads, leave a comment down below. Let us know. We can keep the conversation going. As always, you can find us online at shoepodcast.com for links to all of our social media and everywhere you can find the podcast. But you can, if you want to get direct to the source, find us on social media at Shoe Podcast, everywhere except for where we're not. Lastly, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Please consider, if you're watching on YouTube, hitting subscribe If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, following the show, leave the rating review. If you want to continue the discussions and the conversations with us and fans of the show, you can do so in our Discord linked in the episode description down below. Tanner, on this Valentine's Day, what do you want to leave the people with before we go? The ponder. The contemplation.
If you were a topping to ice cream, what topping would you be?
Okay. I like we're doing more questions this time around. Icebreakers almost. And the follow-up from last week, you want to remind people last week's prompt, your question for them, because Valentine's Day now?
Yes. So
hopefully you caught it. You had enough time to think about it.
Chip and dip. You're the chip or you're the dip. Your partner is either the chip or the dip. I want to know why that combo, because it could be a combo where like that makes that I would never put that chip in that dip. But then when you start describing the personalities, I'm like,
why?
I'm see that.
Yeah.
Maybe my palate could be open to it, you know?
Yeah.
Just like I hope you're open to the love that you deserve.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for checking out another episode of Shoe Podcast. We should be back next week with another one. We're recording this one so far in advance that we don't know what that will be, but
time is weird.
We'll probably figure it out. You know, time is an illusion. It's a man-made construct anyways, but we'll probably figure it out. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy time with your loved ones. You just doing the blank stare on the way? Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry. I'm your co-host, Ryan Landry.
I'm your co-host, Andrew.
All right.